Alright Blades, breaking news coming at you today, and trust me, you're going to want to hear every word of this. We've got 3 massive stories that could shape the rest of our season, and honestly, some of it's not easy listening, but that's why we're here, in it, to talk about it together, as a community. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right now and join thousands of Blades fans who get the latest updates before anyone else. Ring that notification bell too. You don't want to miss a single upload when things are moving this fast at Bramall Lane. Today we're diving into 3 stories that have everyone talking. First up, the Gustavo Hammer transfer saga is back, and this time Leeds United aren't taking no for an answer. Then, we've got an intriguing trial situation with a former Crystal Palace player who can add some much-needed experience to our back line. And finally, one of our young guns is absolutely tearing it up for the under-21s, which brings up a massive question about what we do with him in January. So settle in, and let's get stuck into it. This is your Sheffield United update. Let's go. Right? Let's start with the big one, and it's a story that's going to hurt to talk about, but we need to address it head on. Gustavo Hammer, our midfield maestro, the reigning championship player of the year, and according to fresh reports, Leeds United are planning to reignite their interest in January. If we continue struggling at the bottom of the table now, this isn't new, is it? Leeds have been linked with Gus in each of the last 3 transfer windows. But here's what's different this time. Our position in the league. We're rock bottom of the championship, lads. 1 win in 10 matches across all competitions. That's the harsh reality we're facing, and it's making clubs like Leeds think they can pounce. According to Sports Boom, Leeds are preparing to make their move when the January window opens. They see Hammer as the creative spark they need in the Premier League, and honestly, who can blame them? The 28-year-old has been one of the most talented players in the championship for years. When we signed him from Coventry City back in 2023, we knew we were getting something special. But here's where it gets interesting and a bit frustrating. If I'm being honest, reports suggest that Hammer's preference in the summer was actually a move to Holland, not Leeds. PSV Eindhoven were heavily linked, and that seemed to be where his heart was pulling him. But when that move didn't materialize, he stayed with us in South Yorkshire. Now, whether that was purely his choice or whether the club blocked it, we'll probably never know the full truth. What we do know is that Chris Wilder sees him as absolutely integral to our plans. Wilder's been vocal about keeping our best players, and Gus is right at the top of that list. But there's a problem, and it's a big one. Our new ownership group, Co Sports, took over from Prince Abdullah back in December. They're business people, and they're looking at this from a different angle than we are as fans. From their perspective, Hammer is 28 years old. He's at peak value. If we're going to sell him, this might be the best time to maximize the fee. That's cold, hard business logic, and it makes sense financially. But emotionally, as fans, it's devastating to even consider. Now let's talk about why Leeds are so persistent. Daniel Farke, their manager, has been an admirer for ages. They're currently 15th in the Premier League. Not exactly setting the world alight, are they? They made several signings in the summer, but they missed out on targets like Fakano Buonanna from Brighton and Harry Wilson from Fulham. They wanted that creative midfielder who could unlock defenses and provide that final third quality. Hammer fits that profile perfectly. He's versatile. He can play as an 8 or a 10, and he's got the championship experience Leeds value. Plus, and this is a detail that matters, he lives about 40 minutes from Leeds. He's mates with Jayden Bogle, who moved to Leeds. There are personal connections there that can make the move attractive to him. And here's what really worries me. If we're still struggling come January, still bottom or near it, the pressure to sell will be enormous. Not just financially, but from Gus himself. He's a professional footballer at his peak. Can we really ask him to stay and fight in a relegation battle when he could be playing Premier League football? Let's be brutally honest about the impact if this happens. Losing Gustavo Hammer would be a massive blow. He's not just our most talented player. He's one of the few genuine championship quality performers we have. He scored that incredible goal from the halfway line against Birmingham in the Carabao Cup. Remember that? That's the kind of magic we'd be losing. But, and I hate playing devil's advocate here, there could be a silver lining. Chris Wilder has already said he knows who takes us forward and who doesn't. He's planning honest conversations with the owners about what needs to happen in January. If selling Hammer brings in 15 to 20 million quid, that's money that could be reinvested across the squad. We've got problems in multiple positions. Maybe, just maybe, Strengthening 3 or 4 areas is better than keeping one brilliant player in a struggling team. I'm not saying I want this to happen, far from it, but we have to think about all angles. Wilder is a shrewd operator. He's built promotion-winning teams before. If he gets the backing to properly rebuild in January, could we be better off in the long run? It's a question worth asking, even if it's painful. What's clear is that January is going to be absolutely crucial. Wilder's already mentioned that document he's preparing for the owners, a blueprint for how to turn this season around. Hammer's future will be a massive part of those discussions. Do we cash in and rebuild? Or do we dig in, keep our best players, and fight our way out of this mess? The transfer fee being mentioned is around 15 to 20 million pounds, potentially structured as a loan with an obligation to buy. That's good money for a 28-year-old, even one as talented as Gus. But is it worth it? That's the million-pound question, or should I say, the 15 to 20 million question. So here's what I want to know from you lot in the comments. Would you keep Gustavo Hammer at all? Costs? Or would you take 15 to 20 million quid and let Wilder rebuild the squad? It's a tough one, and I genuinely want to hear what you're thinking. Are you in the keep our best players camp, or the sell and reinvest camp? Drop your thoughts below, and if you're finding this update valuable, smash that like button. It helps more Blades fans find this content, and we're all in this together. And this isn't all we've got today. There's more coming. Now then, here's one that came a bit out of left field, but could be really interesting. The Sheffield Star reported on Tuesday night that we've offered a trial to former Crystal Palace and Ajax player Hierro Rita Wald. And before you ask, yes, this is the same Rita Wald who was once called a prodigy during his Ajax days. Let's set the scene here. Rita Wald is 29 years old, currently a free agent after spending last season with Royal Antwerp in Belgium. He made 28 appearances for them before his contract expired, and now he's looking for his next move. Enter Sheffield United, who are continuing their strategy of looking at the free agent market to strengthen the squad. This approach isn't new under our ownership. We've already brought in Danny Ings and Ben Mee on free transfers in the latter stages of the summer window, and both have made strong impressions already. The experience and know-how they brought, especially from their Burnley days, has been exactly what Wilder wanted. So there's a proven track record here of this strategy working. Now, let's talk about the player himself. Rita Wald came through the Ajax Academy, and if you know anything about Ajax, you know they don't produce mugs. He was considered a real prospect, a versatile defender who could also play in defensive midfield. That versatility is key here because it's what Wilder values. He spent 7 years at Crystal Palace from 2017 to 2024, making 96 appearances for the Eagles. That's Premier League experience, lads. He knows what it takes to compete at the highest level in English football. Now, 96 appearances over 7 years isn't exactly a stellar rate. That averages out to about 14 games a season, but he was a squad player at a Premier League club. There's value in that dot according to Capology, and these are estimates. Mind you, he was earning around £45,000 per week at Palace. That's substantial money. So if we're going to sign him permanently after this trial, there will be serious negotiations about wages. Our new ownership has been smart about the wage structure, and they won't want to blow the budget on one player, especially given our championship status. Here's why this makes sense tactically. Chris Wilder has switched to a back three recently, and we've seen Japhet Tanganga, Mark McGuinness, and Ben Mee forming that defensive line in the 1-0 defeat to Hull City. But we need depth. We need options. We've had injury concerns, and if we're going to play 3 at the back consistently, we need at least 5 or 6 quality center backs. Rita Wald can slot in on the left side of that 3. He's comfortable on the ball. He's got positional intelligence from his Ajax schooling, and he can also drop into midfield if needed. That tactical flexibility could be invaluable, especially when we're trying to play out from the back, or when we need to change shape during matches. The reports suggest his presence would help address recent concerns in our defensive department. Now, we've actually signed 6 defenders already this summer, which sounds mental when you say it out loud, but clearly Wilder feels we need more. Whether that's because some of those signings haven't worked out, or because of injuries, or simply because the gaffer wants more options, I'm not entirely sure, but there's obviously a need there. What I like about this approach is that it's risk-free. We're not committing to anything yet. Rita Wald comes in, trains with the lads at Sheffield. Wilder and his coaching staff assess him, and then we make a decision. If he looks sharp, If he fits the system, if he's got the right mentality, brilliant. We offer him a deal. If not, we part ways with no harm done and no money wasted. It's smart business, especially for a club in our position. We can't afford expensive mistakes right now. Every signing has to count. Every player has to add something to the squad. This trial period lets us make an informed decision rather than gambling on a player we haven't seen up close. Remember that document Wilder mentioned after the whole defeat? The one he's putting together with the senior staff to send to Co-Sports? This is probably part of that. If Rita Wald impresses and signs, he could be the first piece in Wilder's rebuild. Not the flashy piece, not the headline signing, but the smart, experienced addition that helps stabilize things. Wilder's been clear that he knows which players can take us forward and which ones can't. There's going to be movement in January, both ins and outs. Some of our current squad haven't performed to the level required, and Wilder won't be sentimental about it. If Rita Wald comes in and immediately looks better than what we've got, decisions will be made quickly, and that's what we need, isn't it? Decisiveness, clarity, a manager who knows what he wants and owners who back him to get it. This trial is a small example of that process in action. Let's zoom out for a second. We're bottom of the championship. We're in a crisis. There's no sugarcoating it. But we're also being proactive. We're not sitting around waiting for January. We're looking at options now, assessing players now, planning now. That's encouraging, even if the results on the pitch haven't been. Rita Wald might not be the glamorous signing some fans want, but he could be exactly what we need. Experienced, versatile, hungry to prove himself again after a year in Belgium. If he's got the right attitude and the quality to compete, he'll fit right into what Wilder is building. So here's my question for you. Do you think bringing in experienced free agents like Rita Wald is the right strategy? Or should we be investing in younger players with higher potential? It's a genuine debate. Some will say we need battle-hardened pros who can handle the pressure. Others will argue we should be building for the future with hungry youngsters. Let me know in the comments what you think. And if you haven't already, give this video a like and share it with your fellow Blades fans. We need to stick together during times like these, and that means keeping everyone informed and involved, right? On to the final story, and this one's a bit more positive, thankfully. Finally, let's talk about some good news, yeah? Because we could all use a bit of that right now. Step forward Louie Marsh, our 21-year-old striker, who is absolutely on fire for the under-21s. On Tuesday night, Marsh scored a hat-trick in a 5-0 victory over Barnsley. That takes his tally to 6, 7, and 8 goals in his last 5 matches. 8 goals in 5 games, lads. He's top of the Professional Development League scoring charts, and he's showing absolutely no signs of slowing down. Since his season opener, a 2-0 win over Millwall last month, Marsh has been in ridiculous form. He's scored in 4 of the last 5 under-21 matches. The only time he didn't find the net was in a 1-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough, a couple of weeks back, and even then, we still won. So you can't complain too much. For those of us who've been watching the academy for years, this is the stuff dreams are made of. Louie Marsh is a Blade through and through. Childhood fan. Came up through our system. There's nothing better than seeing one of our own make it, is there? It's what football should be about. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? We have to be realistic about the jump from under-21s to the championship. It's absolutely massive. Marsh has already had a taste of senior football, and it's been, well, mixed, to be diplomatic about it. In the first half of the 2023-24 season, he went on loan to Doncaster Rovers in League Two. It didn't go well. He managed just 1 goal in 8 appearances before the loan was cut short. Then, in February of this year, he joined Fleetwood Town, also in League Two, on loan until the end of the 2024-25 season. That went better, 16 appearances, 2 goals. But it's hardly setting the world alight, is it? Chris Wilder was pretty candid about the decision to loan him out. He said, "We didn't really see him breaking through this year, especially in the second part of the season, where we brought in players like Tom Cannon and Ben Brereton Diaz. So there was an opportunity, and he's doing well at Fleetwood. This will only help his career development." Translation, Marsh wasn't ready for championship football, and he needed regular games at a lower level. That's not a criticism of the lad. It's just the reality of player development. Not everyone can go straight from the academy to the first team. Most need that intermediate step. Here's where it gets interesting. Marsh's contract situation and his current form mean The club will have a decision to make in January. Do we keep him with the under-21s where he's thriving? Do we loan him out again to League One or League Two? Or do we take a punt and bring him into the first-team squad? Let's be honest. As impressive as 8 goals in 5 under-21 games is, the gap between that level and the championship is enormous. The physicality, the speed of play, the quality of defenders, it's a completely different world. Marsh is 21 now, turned that age in July, so he's not a teenager anymore, but he's also not a finished product. The sensible move, and I know this isn't what people want to hear, is probably another loan. Maybe to a League One club this time, somewhere he can play regularly, score goals, build confidence, and continue his development. If he goes out and bangs in 15 goals in League One in the second half of the season, then we're having a very different conversation next summer. But here's the other side of the argument. Our first team is struggling desperately for goals. We're bottom of the league partly because we can't score. When you got a 21-year-old striker scoring for fun at any level, even if it's under 21s, there's a temptation to throw him in and see what happens. What have we got to lose? There's also a clock ticking on Marsh's development. At 21, he's reaching the age where he needs to be playing senior football regularly. He can't spend too much longer in the under-21s. That would stunt his growth as a player. He needs to be testing himself against proper defenders week in, week out. Wilder mentioned this when discussing the Fleetwood loan. This will only help his career development. That's the key phrase. Everything has to be about what's best for Louie Marsh's long-term career. Not what's expedient for us right now, not what makes fans feel good, but what actually develops him into the best player he can be. If that means another 6 months at a League One club, learning his trade, getting stronger, getting smarter, then that's what should happen. If Wilder and the coaching staff genuinely believe he's ready for championship football, then brilliant. Let's give him a chance. But it has to be based on evidence, not desperation, of course. What every Blades fan wants is for Louie Marsh to come into the first team, score the goals that fire us up the table, and become a club legend. That's the dream, innit? Local lad makes good, scores the goals that save our season, goes on to have a brilliant career at Bramall Lane. We've seen it before with players like Kyle Walker and Harry Maguire, though they were defenders. Not strikers. Can Marsh be that player? Maybe. The talent is clearly there. The mentality seems right. He's gone on loan twice, worked hard, kept his head down, and come back scoring goals. He hasn't thrown his toys out of the pram or demanded a transfer. That speaks well of his character. But talent and character alone aren't always enough. Timing matters. Development pathway matters. Making the right moves at the right times matters. And right now, with the team struggling, throwing a 21-year-old striker into the fire might not be fair on him or helpful for us. Over the next 2 months leading up to January, the coaching staff will be watching Marsh closely. If he keeps scoring for the under-21s, if he looks physically ready, if he's showing the right attributes in training, then maybe he gets a chance in a cup game or off the bench in the championship. That would be the logical next step. But equally, if a good League One club comes calling in January, somewhere he'd play every week, somewhere with ambitions of promotion, somewhere with a good track record of developing young strikers, that might be the better option for his career. Whatever happens, we should be encouraged that we've got a young striker in this kind of form. In a season where there hasn't been much to shout about, Louie Marsh banging in goals is something positive to cling to. Whether he does it for the first team this season or not, the future could be bright for this lad. Alright, here's what I want to know from you lot. Should we give Louie Marsh a chance in the first team in January, or send him on loan again to continue his development? I know what the romantic choice is, but what's the smart choice? What's best for the player and the club long term? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And whilst you're down there, make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel. We're building a proper community of Blades fans here, and every subscription helps us grow. Right then, Blades, let's wrap this up. What a trio of stories, eh? 3 very different situations, but all of them potentially crucial to how the rest of our season plays out. First, we've got the Gustavo Hammer saga rumbling on, with Leeds United circling like vultures. It's the story we hoped would go away, but it's not going anywhere. January could bring heartbreak if we're still struggling and Gus decides his future lies elsewhere. But it could also bring 15 to 20 million quid that Wilder can use to rebuild. It's complicated, it's emotional, and it's going to dominate the conversation for the next couple of months. Second, Hierro Rita Wald on trial, a free agent with Premier League experience, Ajax pedigree, and the versatility Wilder loves. Not a glamorous signing, but potentially a smart one. If he impresses over the next few weeks, he could be a valuable addition to our defensive options. It's low risk, potentially high reward, and it shows the club is being proactive even in crisis. Third, Louie Marsh banging in goals for the under-21s and forcing his way into the conversation. 8 goals in 5 games can't be ignored. Whether he's ready for the championship or needs another loan move, that's for Wilder and his staff to decide. But it's brilliant to see a young blade in this kind of form. Gives us all a bit of hope for the future. Look, I'm not going to stand here and pretend everything's rosy. We're bottom of the championship. 1 win in 10. It's a crisis, plain and simple. But these 3 stories show that things are happening behind the scenes. Wilder's planning. The owners are listening. Decisions are being made. January is going to be absolutely massive for this football club. The decisions we make in that window could determine whether we're fighting for promotion next season or scrapping to avoid League One. That's how important it is. And that's where you come in. This channel is about community. It's about keeping Blades fans informed, engaged, and connected. So here's what I need from you. First, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Hit that red button, turn on notifications, and join thousands of your fellow Blades who get these updates first. We're growing this community every single day, and I want you to be part of it. Second, smash that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this content. The algorithm favors videos with high engagement, and every like pushes this video to more Sheffield United fans. We're all in this together, so let's help each other stay informed. Third, get involved in the comments. I've asked you 3 big questions in this video. Would you sell Gustavo Hammer for 15 to 20 million or keep him at all costs? Is the free agent strategy the right approach, or should we focus on younger players? Should Louie Marsh get a first-team chance or another loan move? I want to hear your thoughts. I want debate. I want this to be a proper conversation, not just me talking at you. So get down in those comments and let me know what you think. I read every single one, and I often heart and reply to them as well. Fourth, share this video. Send it to your mates who support the Blades. Post it in your supporters group chats. The more fans we can keep informed and engaged, the stronger our community becomes. And right now, we need that community more than ever. I'll be back very soon with more Sheffield United content. Whether it's match analysis, more transfer news, or tactical breakdowns, I'm here to keep you updated on everything happening at Bramall Lane. These are tough times, but we've been through worse before and come out the other side. We're Sheffield United. We're fighters, and we'll get through this together. So until next time, keep the faith, keep supporting the lads, and remember, we're all Blades, and we stick together through thick and thin. Come on, you Blades. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Up the Blades.